Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my top drawer products, which is really more so my top drawers because I have two Cosmo cubes, one on this side that mainly contains makeup and then this side that has some makeup and then mostly brushes. I used to keep my makeup that I used on a daily basis in this little box behind me, as well as the top drawer in this set of drawers, and I always had the top drawer sitting on my table. So now I'm a little bit more organized and I have all the products that I want to use and I use the most often right in front of me, easy access, and I wanted to show you guys what are in these drawers. So I'm going to go drawer by drawer and just show you what is in them. So on this side, I have the Cosmo Cube with the makeup, and in my very top drawer, I'm just going to pull it out. You're going to have to excuse any powder. It's going to look like dust, but really it's powder because we all know the amount of powder that I use. And I do not apologize for it. But in the very top drawer of my Cosmo Cube, I have my bronzers and highlighters and blushes, like single blushes. And these, I know there's so many in here, but these are the ones that I grab for the most, and I don't want to have to go to my set of dresser drawers behind me to grab for. So I'm gonna just dig in here and show you what I've got. Starting off with bronzers, I have this one here, which it says Makeup Forever, but it's not. It's just a Makeup Forever palette. I have my almost gone through Hoola Light Bronzer as well as the regular Hoola Bronzer. And then I have, I just showed you guys this. I'm going to have to go ahead and just buy a new one. But I have the Natasha Denona Contour Sculpting Powder, and the shade that I have is number 1 Light. I don't even know how I go through these so quickly. I think it's because I like to add a little bit more product than the normal person because I buff over everything to make it lighter in the end. So I think that's how I go through these so quickly, but that's in the top drawer, as well as my Jouer bronzer. I have already gone through a duo, and this is the second one, and this is the light to medium duo in Sunlight and Suntan. This is actually what I have on my face today. I just love these. All of these colors are the ones that I find that just work perfectly for my skin and blend out so effortlessly. I just really enjoy using them. The last bronzer I have in my top drawer is the one from The Balm, and this is Take Home the Bronze Anti-Orange Bronzer in Oliver. This guy right here, that's also the coolest toned. So I use this more when I don't necessarily want to be too bronze, but just like a little bit more on the sculpted cool tone side. I love this bronzer. So that's it for my top drawer bronzers. Now I'm going to move on to the blushes in this drawer. Again, I have a duo from Jouer. This one right here, the Adore Me. I love this palette, and I also, well, you'll see it later, but I just love this one. This, I usually use both of them together. I like to tap into here, go back and forth, and it looks like I haven't really made a dent in this, but I have used this quite a bit. You guys have seen this in my description box all the time. I love this. I have two blushes from MAC. One is a new recent love. I talked about this in my favorites. Again, thank you, Charlotte Holdcraft. I realized, I don't know why I want to call her Hold. I just did it again. It's Holdcraft. Craft. And I want to say craft. And I don't know why, but it comes out that way. Charlotte, I swear I know it's Holdcraft, but it just wants to come out as craft. It's like I'm thinking of you as like Lorecraft or Tomb Raider or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, thank you again for this. This is the Jade Jagger Blush in Moon Shimmer. I just love this color. So it is top drawer quality. The second one I have is the same type of formula. It's the Mineralized Blush, and this is Naturally Flawless. It's a bronzy shade. I just think it's beautiful. The next blush I have is from Il Makiage. I Oh, I keep forgetting to order another blush from them because I want a lighter tone for the winter, which is now almost spring. So I loved this during the fall, and I have a feeling I'm going to love it during the summer and stuff. But this is the shade Poker Face, and it is such a good formula. Again, it looks really dark, but it's more of like a bronzy, warm bronzer, and I just think it's gorgeous. And then we have one of my all-time favorites. I'm wearing this currently, my Chanel Elegance. How have I not hit pan? I don't understand how I have not gone through this blush yet. I did like how many grams is in here? It's 6 grams of product, and this one from MAC is 4 grams. And I've gone through a MAC blush before. I've gone through other blushes before. It smells good, but I don't know how I have not gone through this yet because this is something that I have used to death. Like I can see a dip in it, but I don't know. Elegance is just one of my all-time favorite blushes, and I will have this in my collection no matter what. If for some reason they were to discontinue this blush, it's one of those that I would end up buying 10 of them for backups. Yep, 10. 2 more blushes. This one is from Tom Ford. I know you guys remember the phase where I just like wore this one nonstop. Again, you can barely see that I've gone through this, but it used to have a TF in the center, so that tells you something. Again, this is one that I really like to use during the summer, but I still kind of sneak it in, and I've used it here recently. I just love this color. It's a peachy bronze shade, and I just always gravitate towards those colors of blushes. The last one I have is from Jane Iredale, and how much is in here? 3.7 grams. So this looks teeny tiny, but this MAC blush has 4 grams and this has 3.7. So honestly, yeah, packaging can be deceiving because I thought this was itty bitty, but really it has almost the same amount as the MAC ones. And this is in the shade Copper Wind. I have no idea why it's called Copper Wind. I've talked about that before because it's definitely more neutral peach. I want to see what this looks like up against Chanel's Elegance. Let's see. So there's some slight differences there. This one definitely is a little bit more pigmented on my skin, a little bit brighter than what Chanel Elegance is, but they're kind of close in color. Before I get into the highlighters that are in here, I gotta talk about this, which is kind of in between like a contour bronzer and a highlight. This is what I always use for my nose unless I'm being lazy and I'm using a really light bronzer. But 9 times out of 10, I'm using this, and you can see here I've hit pan twice on this guy. But this is from By Terry, and it is the Compact Expert Dual Powder in the number 4 Beige Nude. I just find this to be so perfect to do my nose, and it's also really great to do it all over, like if you want to mix these 2 shades to give you a little bit of a glow on the skin. But I like to use this on the sides of my nose and then this highlight on the center because it doesn't have the reflection of a blinding highlight, so therefore I don't get the texture, but I get the effect of a highlighter that I want. So that's why I love this so much. Now let's talk about the top highlighters that I have in my top drawer. The first one is a newer one. This is from Guerlain. I am obsessed with this. I did end up getting a backup for those of you that don't know. I just love this. It gives me it's more purple on my skin, but it's very wearable. Let me just mix this all together because that's how I do it. And I just think it's so sneaking pretty. I know I'm going to wear this to death. I am already wearing it to death in the wintertime because it's more cool tone, but then it's going to be so beautiful for the spring. But I love this one. Obviously, I've got my Anastasia and Reezy one in here. This will never be out of my top drawer. It's just one of my ride or dies. Another one that I know you guys, you all know I've got this in here. Like, come on, come on. Just tell me, go ahead and guess. What am I about to talk about? My Dior Hollow Pink. Now, I have not been wearing this on camera as much recently because I know it says it's available at Bloomingdale's, but my order got canceled, and so I'm kind of like, I still wear it, but I feel bad because I don't know if Bloomingdale's is going to like restock it or what's going on with it, but this is limited edition and it's my absolute favorite highlighter of all time. And as soon as this one finally does completely run out, as you can see, I'm almost done with it. I have a backup or two. The next one is also from Dior, and this is a newer one, Peach Delight. As you can see, I've gone to town on the center of this one, but this isn't a highlighter on me that does like the lifting effect. It's more so a highlight that I kind of blend into my blush that will give me the glow, but I have nothing else in my collection that looks like this highlighter, and I almost skipped out on it because I thought it was going to be too dark, and it's definitely too dark to be like up here. I cannot put it up here, but I can put it right here on my cheeks, and it's so stinking pretty. I love this. And then I think I have two more. Yes, three more. Sorry, lying. I'm going to tell you the one that I have on right now. This is Melt Stargazer. So this is what I'm currently wearing. I'm not wearing it as intense as I usually do. Just wanted that like little bit of a glow today. But this, yeah, you can make this real blinding. Stargazer, again, Melt. And then I also have the Master Chrome Face Studio in the shade 250. I believe this was in collaboration or something with Nikki Tutorials. I've talked about this a lot. I love this highlighter. And a lot of the times when I use my Dior Peach one, the one that I can only bring right here, if I decide that I also want to add lift, this is the perfect shade to do so because it is the brightest, like one of the brightest highlights that I have. So I like to take this and just put it right here. So it'll give me the lift, but then I have the pretty peachy gold glow of the Dior one. But this is one of my favorite drugstore highlighters. I love this. The other ones are too dark for me. This one is perfection. If you are fair skin tone and you're looking for a shade that is going to work for you, this is going to work for you. This is it right here, 250. Get your hands on it. And then lastly, but certainly not least, because I use this to death, this is from By Terry. This is the Gem Glow Trio Compact, and I love this. I love this the most to use as a highlighter and dust all over my face. It is a trio, and I don't know if you can tell, but I'm about to be out of this. So I have debated on repurchasing this, and they also have another color. I think I might like leave this video and go get this one and the other shade because I use this a lot, especially on days where I'm going to be, you know, just like out and I don't necessarily like, I want to highlight. I want to be glowy, but I don't want a blinding strip on my face. This is so stunning. I just buff it all over this area on my chin, and I can put this one on my nose without really adding texture. And I just like to take all of the shades together. This is so pretty. I hope you guys can see how much I have used this. But I believe this shade is limited edition, so if it's something you're interested in, definitely go ahead and check it out. So that's it for the top drawer. Now for the second drawer, this one right here. This is where I house all of my concealers, the primers for my pores, and just kind of like some random things. So let me just go through it. There's 4 little sections right here. So I'm going to start off with the concealers. I only keep in this drawer the concealers that I already know I like, or ones that I'm testing out. But right now, none of these I am testing out. I like all of these. So I have the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer in the shade number 120 Light Vanilla. That was in there for a little while because I was testing it out, but it stayed because I like it. And then my 2 current absolute favorites right here. I have the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Concealer in 2 different shades, and I think the number 5 is getting sent to me today, I believe, because I have 3 and 4. I've been trying out different colors, but I love this concealer so much. So those are in here, as well as my YSL Touche Eclat High Cover Radiant Concealer in the shade 1.5. I've recently done reviews on all of those, so if you're curious about them, definitely go check that out. This was my previous favorite, but I'm leaving it in the drawer because I'm trying to see if I'm going to start reaching for this again. But right now it is all about that Giorgio Armani concealer and the YSL one, so I haven't reached for this, but I'm leaving it in the drawer until I decide if I'm going to start picking this up. It is so strange. I've never gone from one concealer to the next so quickly. And then I also have the Tarte Shape Tape. Now, I do not like this concealer anymore underneath my eyes. It was ride or die for a long time, but this is what I use for my eye base, so that is why it is in here with my concealers. And the shade I use in that is light neutral. And if you're wondering about the Too Faced Super Coverage, I use the shade Vanilla. Now, as you can see in this side right here, right beside the concealers, I have another concealer, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer. Woo! Why am I always dropping stuff? Anyway, I love this concealer. I have it in the shade number 4. As you can see, I am almost out of it, but I'm not going to repurchase it. I am going to use it all the way up because I really like it, but the Giorgio Armani one I like better. So after I'm done using this, I'm probably not going to repurchase. And then I have my Patchology Lip Service Gloss Balm, and I really, really like this. This kind of goes around with me, so sometimes it's in the drawer, sometimes it's in my purse, sometimes it's in the living room, but it's like a gloss to balm kind of formula, and it's minty, and I love this stuff. My daughter asked me the other day, she goes, random question. I was like, okay. She said, why do your lips always look like they have something on them, but it's not necessarily like lipstick? It doesn't look like you have lipstick on. And she was talking about the fact that I have balm on my lips. They're always shiny. And I said to her, I was like, that's because I don't like for my lips to get cracky and dry. I don't want them to peel or do any of that stuff. I hate my lips to even feel dry, so I have a balm in here. I have a balm in that drawer. We were right here doing swatches. I said I have a balm in the living room. I have a lip balm behind the bed at nighttime. I have a lip balm in my in my skincare drawer, and I have a lip balm in the bathroom, and I have a lip balm in my purse. She was like, oh, okay. So this is one that I haven't talked about, but I really, really do enjoy, especially if I just want to put something on my lips to help soothe them and have that, like, I don't know, it tastes good too. It's just really nice. And these always stay in this drawer. So these are the two products that I'm always talking about that I always have on my pores. And this is the MAC Skin Refine Zone, and then the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. This is what I always use for my pores, so it's up top here, as well as another lip balm. This is the one that I always put on before my makeup. So when I'm doing my makeup, I don't use the lip service. That's just one that I like to grab out of here. This is the one I always put on before after I do my foundation, but before like powder and all that. So it preps my lips for whatever I'm going to put on. It's the Tatcha Camilla Gold Spun Lip Balm. And then I have my under eye primer. So I have a lot of the primers that I use that aren't for like the perimeter of my face. I have 2 of the MAC lip primers in case I want to use like a liquid lip or something and I don't want to affect the matteness of it. Then I also have my Tatcha the Pearl. I love this thing. So when I'm not using my under eye primer from Becca, I am using my Tatcha Pearl. And I also love using this when I'm doing like a no makeup day, or if I just want to wear a concealer but not a concealer. This brightens everything up and smooths it out, and it's an eye cream in one, so I love this. This always stays right up here, so instant grab. And then the last thing I have here is a tiny powder. Now my bottom drawer contains all of my powders, but this one's so small that I don't want to keep it down with all the larger ones, so I keep this one in the middle drawer. This is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Setting Powder, and I've been getting real bougie lately. Real bougie. I have been enjoying taking that powder right up here and then using my Huda powder for right down here. Like when I'm really taking my time on my makeup, that is what I have been doing. So like it's like brightening and a little softer finish. Whereas the Huda really, really blurs out my pores and keeps them in check. So yeah, I get a little high maintenance sometimes. Third drawer, mascaras, liners, and then brow products. So I'm gonna start off with the brow products. There is one other thing in there. So I have all my brow products in there, but then I also have my lash adhesive. If you've never tried this lash adhesive, you really, really need to. It is latex free and it is so sticky. Like it's not going to come off. It does not move. I love this stuff, and it's the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive with aloe, but this stuff is amazing. I just keep it in this top drawer so I don't have to, again, go grab it and try and find it. But all the other things are my brow products. So let me tell you what is in my top drawer. The first two things are from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have to have my brow whizzes. I use the shade Ebony sometimes, and then I also use the shade Soft Brown. Today I'm wearing the shade Soft Brown. And then my favorite ride or die gel is the 24-hour brow setter from Benefit. This is what holds my brows into place, keeps them up, standing at attention, and they do not move. Like they don't move. And I love the comb on them. I've talked about this stuff so many times. But then I also have the one from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So let's say I'm doing like a no makeup kind of look, or I'm just running out the door. I don't necessarily want my brows to be completely straight up. I want them to be in place and stay in place, but I don't want them to look too perfected. I just want them to look natural. I love using this. So that's the Anastasia clear one. And then I have two other options. Like I just like to switch things up. I really like this pencil from The Balm. It is the Ferocious Brow Pencil. I use it in light brown. And then this, when I'm feeling like I really want to get that look of, it almost looks like my brows are microbladed when I use this, but it is the Shape and Shade Brow Tint in the shade Spiked from MAC. I do not use this side with a little bit of powder, but I love this side with the pen, and it has not run out yet. I love it. I go through like little spurts where sometimes I want to use a pencil and sometimes I want to use this. So I just like to keep them all in one spot. Next up, we have liners. And the very first thing is this little e.l.f. liner. I love this liner. It is not necessarily like waterproof or anything like that, but it's affordable and it works really, really well. I love this to go in and fill in my winged liner. I use it all the time, and I've used this stuff for years. Now, all of the other ones that are in here. So obviously we can see I have all of my Milk liners in this drawer because I don't know which one I'm going to use. I use BCC and Boss the most, but if I want to use a brown or anything like that, these liners are everything, so they have to be in my top drawer. They are amazing. And then I have this one just because I'm trying to go through it. I just like my Milk one better. This is the Roller Eye Bright Pencil from Benefit. It's okay. I like my Milk one better. Now this guy is a liner, but I don't use it as a liner. I've had this for so long, since the beginning of my MAC days, so for years and years and years. And the reason why is because this is the shade Taupe. It was a limited edition product, but this is what I use to fill in my freckle because it is the perfect color. When that runs out, I'm probably just going to use a brow pencil, but anywho. And then I have my NARS Larger Than Life Longwear Liner in the shade Via Veneto. I want to go ahead and use this up. This is what I was using before I started using Milk, but the Milk one, again, I like better. And then I have two different eyelining pens. This one from Tom Ford is my absolute favorite. It has two different ends on it. It's called the Eye Defining Pen. It comes in one shade, which is deeper. On one side, you have this tiny, teeny tiny felt tip liner, so you can really get in here. And then on the other end, you have a brush liner. So this is the best one I've ever found. But then I really like this one because I think this one's a little bit more matte than the Tom Ford one. When I wear false lashes and the glue, I just always like to go over the glue, whether you can see it or not. I love taking this and I put it right over top. Or if I need something to go right at my lash base, right before I put on lashes, if I feel like I need just something to really anchor the look, I will use this. And this is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Feline Flick. So this is in my top drawer as well. Now let's move on to my mascaras. I have a sample size of the Milk Kush mascara. This is just something that I do like. I really do like that mascara, but I'm trying to use it up, and I tend to use it whenever I am using like false lashes or something. And then I also have the Charlotte Tilbury Full Fat Lashes right here. Like that mascara, it's not my absolute favorite. The next ones, all of these are my favorite mascaras. So we all know about Max Extended Play. This is the only thing I use on my lower lash line. So this always is up here, and I always have a backup of it. It is a tubing mascara. People ask me why I use that and only that on my lower lash line. It's because it almost acts like a waterproof mascara without it being waterproof, because it comes off in tubes with warm water, but it doesn't smudge or do anything else, and the wand size is perfect on it. The Mad Lash mascara from The Balm, I love this one. It's the one, I think the only one that I like with the spiky, yeah, I just did that. I'm gonna leave that there for a second so that it's gonna bother you guys. I don't care. I'm gonna leave it there until it dries. But this is one of the only spiky mascara ones that I really like because it separates my lashes. It doesn't get clumpy. I can get that full fanned out effect. I love this mascara, and I have repurchased this several times. The first time I got it, The Balm sent it to me, and then I fell in love. I currently have, I think, 3 backups of this mascara. And then a new one that I have fallen in love with that you guys have recently heard me talk about is the Exhibitionist mascara from CoverGirl. Love this stuff. I did a comparison of this one right up against it. Right now, I am wearing the CoverGirl mascara, and I tested it up against the Pat McGrath Labs Fetish Eyes mascara. I love them both. Both of them are definitely top drawer products. And then these two, I still love the Monsieur Big from Lancome, but this is something I only want to wear when like I have a really smoky eye. This adds the most volume. So if you want not like separated fluffy lashes, you want a whole lot of volume and separation and length, this is it. It gives you so much volume at the base that it's insane. But when I'm using or doing like a really smoky eye and I'm not gonna wear false lashes, this is it. This used to be my ride or die mascara no matter what, but then I have fallen in love with other ones. And then this is the Climax mascara from NARS. Of course, that name came from NARS. I love this one. Again, the same kind of thing. It just fans out my lashes. I love wearing this mascara, and this is the second or third one that I have repurchased. Top drawer. All right, I got my little mascara off. You have to let that stuff dry. If you don't let it dry and you go in right away and try and take that off, girl, you're gonna have a smudge all across your face. But anyway, last drawer is also the biggest drawer, and this contains my powders and foundations and some of my face like perimeter primers. This is what it looks like. As you can see, this is the deepest drawer. And I'm gonna start off with, let's just start off with what's mostly in here, and it's definitely powders. Okay, I've got my MAC Fix Plus in the shade NC25, and I love this for whenever I need to, like if I have something down on my cheeks that needs extra coverage, but I don't want to go in with an extra coverage foundation, or if I need to be more mattified right here or touch up around my lips, I love taking this and the MAC 242 to go around my lips instead of using like a concealer. I like to use this because it'll stop any bleeding and it'll also help to clean up the line. So I use that quite a bit, and it's MAC Studio Fix. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. You guys know Huda Beauty, the shade Pound Cake Easy Bake Loose Baking Powder. I always use this on my pores every single day. I have several different luminous powders in here. Hourglass Veil. This I love this stuff. I already have a backup of that. My Sicily powder, 01 Irisy. This is what I use to, these two are what I use to buff with the most. I use other things to set my face with more often, but these are what I use to buff with the most. Except for recently I found one that I really, really like. I have it on right now. I've been testing it out, and I'm going to talk about this. I have another one as well in a different shade, but I'm going to use it in a Get Ready with Me. This is the DECORTE, I think that's how you say it, but this is the number 11 Illuminating Ivory. So I have been using this for the last, I think, week to buff out my skin, and it's really beautiful. So that has been top drawer. I love setting my face with the La Mer loose powder, and then I also love to set my face if I want a slightly more matte effect with the La Mer translucent pressed powder. Currently today I have on the La Mer loose to set my face. And then the last powder I have in here is the By Terry Hyaluronic Powder, Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. This I use for one exclusive thing. Now, sometimes I will use it all over my face just because I want a blurring effect, I want a brightening effect, whatever. But I like to take this and a tiny bit of product on a fluffy brush at the very end after I've sprayed my face with whatever setting spray or finishing spray. After I've let everything be done, I go in with this a tiny bit and I take it on my pores to help smooth them out, but it doesn't dry them out and make them look cakey, because if you put too much powder on your pores, it can look like craters and like really cakey in that area, and that powder does not do that. So that's it for the powders in my top drawer. Then I have my primer. So this is the Tatcha Silk Canvas. I just opened this. Brand new, you guys, because I ran out of my other one. That smell though, so I can't wait to like dig into this. Like when it's brand new like that, so good. So yeah, I've got the silk canvas in here, and then my other favorite is from, again, By Terry. I didn't realize I had so many By Terry things in here. This is the By Terry Brightening CC Serum. This particular one is limited edition. But I think it's the Gym Glow. I think they have other shades as well, but I love this just for radiance. It doesn't make me oily or anything like that. And then I have my top 4 foundations in this drawer, and then I kind of have some on the side. So like say they're not in the drawer, but they are ones that I want to reach for just in case. Like I have the Tarte, and then I have the Guerlain sitting right up here. Okay, so let's talk about the foundations that are in my drawer. The first one, the La Prairie Skin Caviar Foundation and Concealer. Holy Grail status, absolutely love it. Nothing makes my skin look better than this. I love, like I'm in love with this foundation. It's just so pretty, but I have been using these other 3 the most recently. This is my second bottle of the Laura Mercier Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation, and I'm in the shade 2N1 Cashew. And if you're wondering about the La Prairie, I'm in the shade Warm Linen. And then this is what I have on today. This is the OSMOSIS, I'm getting tired. The OSMOSIS I did it again. OSMOSIS Performance Wear Satin Foundation, and I'm in the shade Natural Light. And if you can see, I'm already halfway through this foundation. I love it so much. And then also the Zelens Age Control. So all of these are in here, and I'm in the shade Cream on that one. So that is it for this entire Cosmo cube, and then this one over here will not take as long because there's only one makeup drawer in that one. But let me go ahead and put this one all back together. Now I'm not going to go over the top 3 drawers. I'm going to show them to you really quickly and explain, like, we're going to do a 30-second thing right here. Okay, so on top of this one, I have 2 different containers. So I have one with smaller brushes and one with larger brushes. These are the ones that will end up needing to be cleaned soon. And then on top of my other Cosmo cube, all of these need to be cleaned. So this is like my system. This needs to be cleaned. These are currently being used, gonna have to be cleaned soon, and then clean brushes in the actual container. So top drawer are my face brushes. Second drawer are mainly my synthetic brushes, as well as the longer handle brushes, like my Royal & Lane Nickel Omnia Gold Line. These are natural hair, but they are too long to go in the other way as they do in this drawer, so they can't sit this way. And then, so this is blending brushes, detail brushes, and like lid packing brushes. So it's like the circle of the brush life right there. And then the very last drawer are my face palettes, the ones that I actually use and I want really close to me. But this is what it looks like. So the very first thing I have on top here is the palette from Chloe and Malika. This is the Chloe palette from Becca. I love this. Every shade in here works for me. I really enjoy it. I love this palette. I'm not going to go on and on and on. This video is going to be so long. I have my Petri dish for my foundation in here, as well as 2 powder puffs, which I use, like this one from Linda Hallberg, if I need to pull down and do some inner rim action. I've got both of those here. This one's from the DECORTE, whatever, that powder that I just talked about. And then I have a blush, because I don't have a blush container that's small enough to put it in the top drawer of the other palette. So this is from Sydney Grace. The shade is Mauve Delight. So that is in here, as well as my brand new Giorgio Armani Jouet Bouquet de whatever. It's a 6-shade blush palette, and I'm definitely loving that. And then I have, whoo, that almost fell too. Jeez. Then I have my favorite MAC shades in here in that palette as well. Now on the opposite side, I have these guys. So the very first thing right here, again, I talked about this in my favorites. This is the Natasha Denona Bloom Blush and Glow palette. That's what it looks like right here. I want this within arm's reach. And then I have a few eyeshadow palettes. I've actually been reaching for this one a little bit more recently. This is the NARS Skin Deep palette. So this has been staying in that drawer. And then obviously this one. These are my most loved MAC shadows. I always grab this to use Blanc type when I'm setting my eyes. And then APSYN OVARD, she stays in here. And this is what she's currently looking like. We've got a few holes in here. Oh, it smells so good. And then the last palette in this drawer is the one from Linda Hallberg's. This is the Infinity Deep palette. So I have the original, which is in my drawers of the actual dresser over here, but I love this palette, I think, more than the original. These 2 shades right here are absolutely to die for. I love this for my eyes, and I love this for my cheeks. Like, this is a amazing blush shade on me, and then I love to use both of those. I can make a monochromatic look. It's just stunning. So I love this. And that is the last thing that are in my top drawers of products. And then I also want to mention really quickly, I have 2 sprays that sit right beside because they don't really fit in the drawers. And I'm kind of scared if they're sitting like this, if they're going to start leaking. But I have the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist and then the MAC Fix Plus, and it sits again with the 2 foundations that don't go in the drawer right beside. So that's it. Those are the things that I want my hands to have instant access to. I don't want to sit here and go around. Oh, and there's one other thing, because I don't have room for my lip liners. My lip liners are in this red drawer behind me, but I have to have my Rimmel liner, and we are almost out of this. So this just sits right here because I use it all the time, other than today because I'm wearing red. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what is in my top drawers. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.